Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today is Sunday, December 29th, 2019, and hopefully this uploads by 12 a.m. or whatever so it gets out. But pretty much today I'm going to be discussing my final ratings for the 2020 Senate elections. Now, straight off the bat, I'm going to tell you that there will be toss-up races at the end of this video. I am not going to be making a solid prediction 1 year out. I will do that as we get closer to the election, I promise. But as of right now, races are definitely, some of them are definitely toss-ups, and we have not hit the official primary season for these races where candidates have actually been selected. So some of them definitely are in a little bit of a limbo stage where it depends on the certain candidate. Once we have finalized candidates, I will go ahead and make definitive predictions. But you might expect to see some races left up as toss-up. I know a lot of you guys don't like that, but also how sure can people be in terms of these very, very close races that are definitely going to come down to less than 5%, possibly 1-2%, this far out. Some people may be right. Some people may be wrong. In 2017, I definitely did send election predictions where I tried not to leave toss-up states, but as we get closer, we'll have a lot more information to work with, and we're not too sure about the presumptive candidates. Now, we have a little bit of an update for the state of Montana. Steve Bullock, former presidential candidate who has recently dropped out, said he will not run for the United States Senate, pretty much making the Republicans know that they have a very solid race here in Montana. He was one of the only notable Democrats that could have actually won from that state, so pretty much Montana is a pretty solid win for Steve Daines, but we will go ahead and characterize that once we get there. So again, based off the 2018 map, if you remember, it was definitely a little bit worse for Democrats in 2018, an uphill climb. Republicans were only defending 8 seats. This time they are defending 23. And the Republicans right now still have the advantage based off which states that they're up in. States like South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, we know are probably going to be Republican states. And the Democrats do have some states to hold on to. But this map is also an uphill climb. The only map that I would say that really favors the Democrats would be 2022, and that's if there is a Republican incumbent. Otherwise, it would still fare as a regular, even-leveled, probably playing field for the Democrats. So this map already starts off with 35 solid Democrats, obviously seats that are not up for re-election, 30 Republicans. Let's go ahead and characterize some of the solid states that we know are already going to go for certain candidates. States like Wyoming, which have a solid history of going for the Republican Party. Idaho, going through this area. We have South Dakota, Nebraska. We'll talk about Kansas, Oklahoma. We'll talk about Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. We'll come back to Mississippi just to discuss that because there is a new incumbent. If you remember her from 2018, Cindy Hyde-Smith won the special election. Alabama, we definitely need to discuss. Tennessee, Kentucky, we also need to discuss as well with Mitch McConnell. South Carolina with Lindsey Graham, pretty solid. I know there is a little bit of discussion of a Democratic candidate there, but to be completely honest, at the end of the day, it will end up wasting money because Lindsey Graham is definitely not a beatable candidate as of right now. Even with, the Democrats riding a wave, South Carolina is still going to vote for Lindsey Graham. Going over to West Virginia, that one is also going to be a Republican state as well. That's pretty much expected. That's how it is. Montana now with Steve Daines, I would say, is a Republican safe stronghold. Same thing in Alaska. That one I also put in the safe Republican column. Now that puts the Republicans at 42. Pretty much based off safe seats alone. For the Democrats, they're going to need to make up some of these numbers in order to keep in the running with the Republicans. So Illinois, Oregon, New Jersey, Delaware, these are safe Democratic seats. Massachusetts, Rhode Island. We'll come back to New Hampshire because that one is not safe. We're coming back to Michigan. We're coming back to Minnesota. Virginia, as of right now, I would say is safe for the Democrats. New Mexico as well, I would also say is safe for the Democrats. So that puts the Democrats at 43. That puts the Democrats right now at that puts the Republicans right now at 42 with 15 toss-up seats. Now, if you take a look at where they are, still favors the Republicans. A lot of these states, let's point out the ones that were Republican in 2016, Arizona, Kansas, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia Special, North Carolina, Kentucky, Iowa, Michigan, and there are Democratic states, Maine, New Hampshire, Minnesota, Colorado. So a lot more Republican states there. If the Democrats win all of the Democratic states from 2016, they end up being a 47, minority, which is what they have right now, so not much would in fact change. But there are some states that are considered likely that we have yet to cover, because I just wanted to fill in safe first. And these likely states are actually states like Mississippi, Kansas. These are likely Republican states. Texas as well. We have 3 likely Republican states, and that's just how the numbers are pretty much being drawn as of right now based off of incumbency. And also, if you take a look at Mississippi, the only reason why I would say it would be likely is just because Cindy Hyde-Smith is not too well known, and Democrats might be able to make it a narrow margin. If you look at the special election, was within, I think, 8% back in 2018. Texas also just a little bit closer based off demographics that are voting, but still enough to slide Cornyn into another 6-year term. Over in Kansas, I believe there's a retiring incumbent, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, the state of Kansas does have a retiring incumbent. Pat Roberts, I believe, had an interesting election in 2014. An independent was supposed to beat him, ended up winning his term, but is now retiring. But that puts the Republicans at 45 seats, the Democrats at 43. To be completely honest, this Georgia special election doesn't have too many notable candidates. That one is also expected to go as likely for the GOP. Georgia at large is expected to go likely as well. As of right now, this is just my personal characterization of the race. Even though we have candidates like John Ossoff running, it's still a statewide race, and it's still a pretty popular incumbent. I don't know why he chose not to run in the special election, but again, that's up to the candidates to decide. That puts Republicans at 47. I mean, at a very, very good standing point, especially with 6 Republican states from 2016 still left on this map. Going over to the Democratic states that I would consider to be likely, I would consider the state of Minnesota. Tina Smith, again, a 2018 special election candidate. I expect Minnesota to go into the likely column for the Democrats, even though the Democrats are not expected to win in New Hampshire by a large margin. When it comes down to the presidential election, I would say New Hampshire is definitely a likely state for the Democrats. Possibly safe, that might be pushing it, but I would say New Hampshire is definitely a likely state, definitely within that 5 to 15% area for the Democrats in terms of margin of victory. Going over to Colorado. Now we're going to start hitting into the lean characterizations. I would say Colorado is a lean Democratic state, same thing as Michigan. These are 2 states that, though Michigan has voted for Trump in the past, I do expect to be lean with incumbents that are either unpopular in Colorado or doing well in Michigan with Gary Peters. I expect these to be lean Democratic seats as of right now, which is never the worst characterization. Trump won Michigan back in 2016, now a lean Democrat state. Colorado, Hillary Clinton won and did very well for the Democrats in the midterm elections, also going into the lean column, putting the Democrats at 47 to 47. Let's go ahead and characterize some of these other states so we can go ahead and fill them in by the end of the evening. But we do have some pure toss-ups that we need to discuss. Right now, I would say the Democrats are probably not going to win in Iowa, but I do consider this one a lean just for right now. Joni Ernst is a pretty strong candidate, but popularity has definitely been dipping since her 2014 election, so definitely need to keep an eye on that one. In Kentucky, though, Mitch McConnell may not be facing the best candidate with Amy McGrath. She may not be the strongest one. I definitely think she could get the margin down. And Mitch McConnell running for another 6-year term, again, was unpopular back in 2014, but again, that was an anti-Obama year, so I didn't expect much for Democrats. Well, I wasn't into politics then, but there wasn't much for Democrats to expect then. Actually, I kind of was into politics then, 2012, sort of. I didn't really focus on midterm elections. I mean, it was literally not even in high school, but besides the point, Kentucky goes to the Republicans, and that one is a lean margin. Still puts the Republicans at 49 to 47, and we still have 4 toss-up seats, 3 of which went for Donald Trump back in 2016. But I'm actually going to go ahead and leave Alabama as a pure toss-up for right now, and Arizona as a tilt Democratic lean, tilt Democratic rating. This is my only tilt for right now. I would say Arizona is a tilt Democrat. They already rejected the senator once. I don't know why they put her back up for this election. Could very well lose, but right now tilt characterization. North Carolina, I would say, is a lean Republican characterization. Same thing in the state of Maine, lean characterization for Susan Collins here. So that puts the toss-ups at 1 Alabama, a pure toss-up, 51 Republican seats, and 48 for the Democrats. So that's my update at the end of the year. We'll see how accurate it is in about 10 or so months. If you count January as the first one. But actually, it'll still be 11. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I will see you all tomorrow.